Hey you guys, and welcome back to my channel. So I'm going to be doing a very short video for you guys, and it's on my inspiration for this little guy that I got at Walmart. It's an ornament for my Christmas tree, and I just thought it would be totally cool to make something bigger. And so of course dollar store came through and this was born. So this is the little mini me. This was the inspiration, and this is the big one. Now, all of these items were purchased at the dollar store, except for the stencils. I've had those for quite some time. I've just never used them. They've just been sitting there with the rest of my DIY stuff, and I just thought it will look really cute, especially since this had the lettering, and I didn't feel like spending $2 for each wooden letter, so I just went ahead and used my stencil. If you have like a Cricut or something where you can do the vinyl, then that'll be way easier than this. But if not, then the best way to go is to get some stencils, or even freehand if you really have a good steady hand. And now, if you guys are new to my channel, please make sure you subscribe so that you don't miss out on any of the DIYs. And now, without any further ado, let's go ahead and get started on this Christmas decoration. Okay, so your supplies will be 4 frames, acrylic paint, which will be black and white, a glue gun, stencils or vinyl, glitter, felt, half foam circle for your snowman, pearls or buttons, burlap, and then 1 orange pipe cleaner for your snowman's nose. So first you want to unwrap all your frames. And I hate these things hurted my fingers. And then save the paper, because you will be putting that in between when you're doing the stencils. And then I went ahead and I took out my pliers. It was much easier to be able to pull out the frame things, those little metal pieces that hold the frame in with the picture in. And then you will want to save one of these, because you are going to be using the little hooks to hang up your frame. And then what I did here too, so that my frame would be a little bit more sturdier, I went ahead and I cut some of the cardboard pieces out, so that way I can glue it on there, and it gives me a much stronger foundation than having a flimsy craft. And of course, if you've ever bought frames from the dollar store, you should already know that their frames are super flimsy. So this is a really good tip. You want to make sure you get a nice clean glue line. Don't overdo it, because you don't want it oozing out, because you will be spray painting this. You don't want to see those little flaws. But also make sure you have enough to hold your frames together, and enough to cover the gaps of your frames, so when you do spray paint it, you don't have those dark areas. And of course, make sure you have a good amount of glue sticks, because you will be using a lot of glue on this project. So here I am gluing down the pieces of cardboard that I cut out. Please do not skip this step. You'll thank me later. Your frame will be so flimsy if you don't do anything to reinforce it. And please be careful with your hot glue gun. I'm used to it, but I did burn myself a couple times. If you've never been burned by a hot glue gun, you don't know pain. So what I did here is the last piece on the area where I was going to hang it up, I cut 2 little slits. So remember those little hooks that came with your frame? we're going to be inserting those in the little slits you just cut and then hot glue gunning them down. And I ended up using my pliers to put pressure on there because I didn't want to burn myself. Okay, and then you just go right ahead and glue it down. And now we're going to start on our stencils. So what I did here is I went ahead and I put the frame on top just to see to where it was going to be the most even. And then I went ahead and I taped it and then turned it around and then started painting. This was the easiest method for me since I am using stencils, but if you do have a Cricut and you can print out some of the vinyl letters, then that's way easier than this. But if not, then this is the easiest way to go. And I did use Scotch tape because it's easy to take off. Please do not use the clear tape because it will be a hassle to get off. Oh, and then just to let you guys know, as you can see here, I had picked the smaller letters. By the time I was done, I did not like the way it looked. So I scraped them all off since acrylic paint does take up to a couple hours to completely dry off. So I just scraped it off and I ended up using the bigger letters and I was more happier with the results. And then all I did was I got a little bit of alcohol and some Q-tips and I went ahead and I cleaned up my letters where it had smeared a little bit. And then I went ahead and I did 2 coats on this. On the second coat was when I ended up doing the glitter on top so that the glitter would stick onto my acrylic paint. And here is the foam that you're going to be using for your snowman. I went ahead and I had some buttons from an old shirt, and then I got my pearls that I had and I went ahead and just painted them black to use them as the mouth of the snowman. If you already have something you can use the buttons, that's totally fine, it'll work. This is what I had at hand, so this is what I ended up using. And here's where your orange pipe cleaner comes in handy. So all I did was I kept twisting it. I went thicker at the base and then I just shaped it to where I wanted, how I wanted the snowman's nose, and then I just glued it on. Make sure these are completely dry so that it doesn't show the white underneath before you start gluing them on. And then just place it where you think it looks the best, where it looks more even. So I started making my little snowman's hat. I already had felt. I have tons of felt, like tons. So I could do projects for days. Just make a little cone, hot glue gun it down. And then I already had some of this, it's like that fuzzy material, and I just ended up using that as the bottom of my snowman hat. Please be careful with this. Oh, there's my daughter giving me God knows what. Oh, we were doing projects together. Whenever I do my projects, she likes to come in here too and she'll do stuff. So you can see her grabbing the glue. And I already had these little fuzzy balls at hand and I just glued it on the end. Now I ended up skipping this part because I didn't think you guys wanted to see me spray paint, but I went ahead and spray painted this beforehand before I started on stenciling. So all I'm doing here is I'm just grabbing where my frames should go. And then I did do glue, I added a little bit of hot glue on each corner of that frame so that they would stay. You want it to be super stable. And then here I just went ahead and added the snowman last. And now this burlap ribbon I did get at the dollar store. So I'm amazed sometimes at the stuff that I find there. So I just made a little bow. I cut a smaller piece to put around. And then at first I had just left it with the pieces dangling, but I didn't like it, so I went ahead and I tucked it in. And then always make sure you cut your edges so that they're nice and you get that little nice V cut on your ribbon. I already had this twine I believe I got it at Michael's for like $1, $2 maybe. But here is what it looks like, and it looks just beautiful. And this is optional. I went ahead and I got my black paint and I just kind of put it on there to make it look a little bit more shabby chic. Thank you for watching, you guys. And it's a pleasure making these videos for you guys. Sorry I hadn't put one out. I was busy with Thanksgiving being the host, and then I've had all kinds of stuff happen this month. Good things. But I've just been super duper busy. So I finally was able to make some time to make my videos for you guys. And then just a quick idea that I didn't think about till after I finished my project was, once I put it up, I thought to myself, man, that will look pretty cool if I can keep it like on forever without having to take it down. So then I was like, light bulb, I could have easily got one of those little 3M hooks and then put that on there and then maybe glued like a little string or something to hang up my snowman. That way, once Christmas is over, you can just take that off and then just put something else on there, like a little garland, like one of those wreath garlands. And then I even thought to myself further, like, wow, I could have done this for every holiday, like put something on there, because it says hope. Hope goes with everything. So I was just like, dang it. So now I'm gonna sit here and try to scrape off my snowman without having to break my glass, and then put one of those on there. If you guys just wanna use it for the holidays, that's fine, but I'm telling you, once you see it on that wall, you're not gonna wanna take it down and you're gonna be like, dang it, that snowman is on there. So, you know, before you even get started on it, please make sure you buy one of the little 3M hooks, put it on there, and you can get those at the dollar store too. And switch it out for every holiday, and that way you have this beautiful piece that people are going to be asking you where you bought it from, and when you tell them that you made them and it came from the dollar store, they're going to be like, for reals? That's when you're like, well, you need to follow this person on YouTube, so that way they can see how to make it themselves. Until next time, you guys, thank you for watching my video, and I will see you on my next DIY.